Ghost in the nurse's office. It was a Saturday in the second half of September. The teachers of an elementary school in Saitama Prefecture were watching the approach of a typhoon on the TV. Strong winds and rain started the night before, but according to the weather forecast, the Kanto region would probably be entering the storm zone during the latter part of that night. During the 20-minute break between second and third periods, a girl in the 5th grade suddenly grabbed her head. "My head hurts," she said, putting her head on the desk and crying. "Hey, what's wrong? Let's go to the nurse's office." 3 of her friends then carried her to the nurse's office. The nurse took her temperature, and she was around 39 degrees. "You have a cold. Take this medicine and then rest for a while," the nurse said, giving her some fever medicine and then letting her rest on a bed. The bell for the start of 3rd period rang. "We'll come back after 4th period," one of her friends said, after seeing her close her eyes. The girls then left. "I'm also going to the teacher's room for a moment." Perhaps she was worried about the typhoon, but she left the nurse's office with some documents. When the girl was finally alone, suddenly she grew afraid and hid underneath her blanket. Before long, heavy raindrops hit the window. The wind also got stronger. Maybe the fever and medicine was having an effect on her, but as she listened to the rain and the wind, the girl drifted off. But she wasn't actually asleep. She could still clearly hear the sounds outside, as well as footsteps passing the nurse's office. Then, around 10 or 20 minutes later, she sensed somebody walking around the room. She didn't hear the door open, so she found it strange. Maybe it's the nurse. She turned over in bed. Then, she felt a warm breath by her ear. Surprised, she opened her eyes, and a woman she didn't know was right in front of her. The girl screamed before she could stop herself and jumped up in bed. But the woman she thought she had just seen wasn't anywhere. The room fell silent. The only thing she could hear was the beating of her own heart. The girl looked around the nurse's office again. White walls and curtains. It smelt a little of medicine, but didn't look any different to usual. But it seemed the sound of the rain had stopped, and the room was dim, like it was evening. Maybe I was dreaming. But that woman's face was too clear to just be a dream. Plus, she felt like she'd seen her somewhere before. Confused, the girl climbed back into bed. Before long, her limbs started to feel warm, her body lethargic, and drowsiness overcame her. Yawning loudly, this time she actually fell asleep. A short while later, the girl struggled to breathe and woke up. Opening her eyes just a little, she gasped. That woman from before was sitting in a chair by her bed. She had some knitting on her lap and was staring at the girl's face. The girl shot up like a bullet. "Who are you?" she yelled before she could stop herself. Then the woman slid soundlessly to the side with her chair, and just like that, seemed to get sucked into the wall and disappeared. The girl was covered in a cold sweat. I was right. The girl had memories of seeing that woman before, but she just couldn't recall them. The girl stared at the wall where she had disappeared, unable to move. Finally, she realized she was thirsty and looked at the clock. The hands pointed to 1 p.m. She thought she had only slept for 20 or 30 minutes, but fourth period had already finished. What happened to her friends who said they'd come and get her? As she was about to get out of bed, her homeroom teacher and the nurse entered the room. "Oh, you're awake. Thank goodness, your fever has gone down, huh?" The nurse put her hand to the girl's forehead and said, relieved, "Everyone went home early today after third period because of the typhoon. I'll be driving you home because you have a fever," her teacher said. "That's right, and we can't have your parents worrying, so I just called them," the nurse said encouragingly. The girl was just about to ask about that woman, but then she stopped. "Eh? What's wrong?" the teachers asked. The girl shook her head. "Nothing." "Are you sure? Well, let's quickly go home then," the nurse said. The girl got out of bed and then glanced at the wall. "Ah!" The girl's breath caught in her throat. There was a picture on the wall of that woman knitting.